This is Plant-Based Briefing. What's the difference between dairy-free and lactose-free? From switchforgood.org. And I'm your host, Marian Erickson, and this is the curated content Plant-Based Podcast, where I research and find a variety of articles on plant-based and vegan living, get permission, and read them to you here in about 10 minutes or less every weekday. Today's article is from switchforgood.org. They're an evidence-based nonprofit dedicated to rattling the accepted norms around dairy and health. They're also working to abolish the current system of dietary racial oppression, and they're promoting solutions for climate change. Their website is an amazing resource. You can find their excellent podcast, hosted by Olympic medalist Dotsie Bausch and Baywatch actress and health coach Alexandra Paul. But they also have great information on why we should ditch dairy. They have information on how to go dairy-free, a lactose intolerance quiz, information on the dairy industry, exposing them, information on dietary racism, all kinds of tips about athletic performance, alternatives to dairy, dairy-free meal plans and recipes. Tons and tons of information. So check that out at switchforgood.org. And now let's get to today's plant-based briefing. What's the difference between dairy-free and lactose-free? From switchforgood.org. The dairy-free trend is on the rise, as is the prevalence of lactose-free products. Here's the thing, they're not the same. Lactose-free products still contain dairy and many of the health issues associated with it. This gray area can be confusing and jeopardize consumer confidence when making purchase decisions. How can we make the right choice for our health when we're burdened with misleading product labels? Here's everything you need to know about dairy-free and lactose-free products. Dairy-free versus lactose-free. Dairy-free products do not contain any dairy in any form. This means no animal milk, milk powder, cream, milk protein isolates, whey, casein, or other dairy derivatives. Lactose-free products contain milk, but lactose enzymes are added to break down the lactose, a sugar found in dairy. Lactose-free products are designed by milk manufacturers for those with lactose intolerance. By adding the lactose enzymes, which lactose-intolerant individuals lack, manufacturers are hoping the milk will essentially be pre-digested. Considering that 36% of the U.S. population is lactose intolerant, the number skyrockets to 65% worldwide, the dairy industry would lose an astronomical amount of money if this demographic stopped purchasing milk products. Engineered lactose-free milk and other dairy products are the industry's attempt to win back the market. The bottom line, lactose-free products contain dairy, and dairy-free products do not. What is lactose intolerance? Lactose intolerance occurs when an individual can no longer properly digest lactose, a sugar found in all dairy products. The person's body either doesn't have enough or stops producing lactase, the enzyme needed to break down lactose. Some are born lactose intolerant, but it is more common to develop it over time. It is a natural evolutionary process and completely normal. After weaning, the body assumes it will not have to break down breast milk any longer. Evolution has not yet caught up with the fact that some humans switch to breast milk from another species after infancy, typically cow's milk. Typical symptoms of lactose intolerance include bloating, gas, abdominal pain, diarrhea, and in some severe cases, vomiting. Depending on the individual, these symptoms range from mildly uncomfortable to extremely debilitating. Symptoms occur every time an affected individual consumes dairy, usually between 30 minutes to 2 hours afterward. There is no cure for lactose intolerance. The only way to avoid symptoms is to avoid all dairy completely and choose dairy-free, not lactose-free foods. What are the benefits of lactose-free milk? Lactose-free products claim to be easier to digest for those with lactose intolerance. The idea is that by adding lactase enzymes, the milk will become more digestible and the symptoms associated with lactose intolerance will be more mild or non-existent. The results are mixed. Those with less severe forms of lactose intolerance tend to fare better with lactose-free dairy, but symptoms may still persist for some. What are the benefits of dairy-free? Due to the fact that dairy-free milk and other products are completely devoid of animal-based milk, they do not trigger lactose-intolerant symptoms. Dairy-free milk is also safe for those with dairy allergies. Dairy-free products are made from plants such as oats, almonds, cashews, soybeans, peas, coconuts, hemp and flax seeds, rice, and hazelnuts. There is a store-bought dairy-free option for virtually all dairy products, including milk, ice cream, yogurt, protein powder, whipped cream, coffee creamer, and more. For a list of stellar dairy-free alternatives, see our comprehensive guide linked here. Is lactose-free milk healthy? Because lactose-free milk and other dairy products contain milk from an animal, they are not a healthy option. While some may find relief from gastrointestinal discomfort, these products still contain the saturated and trans fats, cholesterol, inflammatory properties, and natural bovine hormones found in every single dairy product. While lactose can be somewhat manipulated by adding enzymes, it is impossible to produce dairy that is free from these harmful substances. If it comes from an udder, there is no way to zap out the cholesterol, hormones, or suspect compounds like IGF-1 and new 5-GC. Lactose-free milk and other lactose-free dairy products are not healthy. Dairy allergies and lactose-free milk. A dairy allergy is entirely different from lactose intolerance. While dairy allergies affect fewer people, about 6.1 million in the U.S., it is the most common food allergy among children and one of the most common among adults. A dairy allergy is an immune response to the casein or whey proteins found in animal milk. The body views these compounds as foreign invaders and reacts in combat mode. Symptoms of a dairy allergy may include wheezing, hives, rash, swelling, and in severe cases, anaphylaxis. Lactose-free dairy products are not safe for those with dairy allergies, as it's not the lactose that is the problem, but the actual proteins that make up milk. Those with dairy allergies need to be particularly vigilant about avoiding all dairy. Lactose-free milk and other products. Common brands of lactose-free products include Lactaid, they have milk and ice cream, A2 Milk, Organic Valley lactose-free milk, Organic Horizon lactose-free milk, and Breyer's lactose-free ice cream. While these brands may look promising, they are not dairy-free and still contain saturated and trans fats, cholesterol, hormones, and inflammatory properties. Dairy-free milk and other products. There are a plethora of dairy-free and non-dairy products available in grocers and supermarkets. With the exception of a few coffee creamers, some powdered coffee creamers like Coffee Mate contain sodium caseinate, which is a derivative of dairy. Products labeled dairy-free do not contain any animal products. For our favorite dairy-free milk, ice cream, coffee creamer, yogurt, and more, check out our ultimate guide to dairy-free alternatives linked here. Is dairy-free or lactose-free better for you? Lactose-free milk and other products still contain animal milk, making it an unhealthy choice. Lactose or not, animal milk negatively affects human health in a number of ways, from bloating to setting the stage for more serious issues such as cancer and heart disease. More details are linked here. Going dairy-free is the only way to feel your absolute best every single day. Dairy derivatives to watch for. Animal milk is present in more than just the suspect foods like yogurt and ice cream. Everything from baked goods to crackers may contain dairy. Here is a list of dairy derivatives to look out for if you're trying to avoid dairy. Milk, cream, yogurt, butter, butter solids, butter powder, casein, caseinate, whey or whey powder, milk derivative, milk powder, milk fat, milk solids, milk protein, and lactose. You just listened to What's the Difference Between Dairy-Free and Lactose-Free from switchforgood.org, and I'm Marian Erickson, your host. And now that we clearly understand the difference between dairy-free and lactose-free, there's another term you need to be aware of: non-dairy. Things labeled non-dairy may contain sodium caseinate, and therefore they are labeled contains milk at the bottom of the ingredient list. But they aren't vegan, obviously, and they're dangerous for people with allergies. But taking it a step further, there's something called non-animal or animal-free whey in non-dairy products. Thankfully, it's required to be labeled accordingly, saying contains milk, non-animal whey protein. But just beware that products marked non-dairy may contain this non-animal whey protein, which is cultured whey in essence, and just as bad for people with dairy allergies. You have to read the labels, which is fine in a grocery store, but not possible in a restaurant most of the time. Anything containing sodium caseinate is not vegan. The non-animal whey is vegan, however, since there are no animals involved whatsoever. And you can look into it by looking up perfectday. You can find them at perfectday.com. But again, they're clear on their website that they are not suitable for people with milk allergies because they're actual milk proteins. So just be careful if you go to a vegan restaurant and they say, yes, all of our food is animal-free. If you have someone with you who has a dairy allergy, you might want to check that any of their dairy alternative products don't contain this non-animal whey protein. And if you want more information on how to go dairy-free for health or environment or animal reasons, check out switchforgood.org. They have a free meal plan. They have all kinds of resources. And many people may not want to give up dairy, thinking it's so hard to give up cheese. I was vegetarian for decades and said the same thing. What got me initially was learning how unhealthy it is, but what made it a no-brainer and made sure I will never, ever, ever consume an ounce of dairy again is the cruelty. As a former vegetarian, I loved animals and I thought I was doing no harm by consuming dairy and eggs. Little did I know that those industries are way more cruel than the meat industries. Dairy cows and egg-laying hens are all slaughtered for meat anyway when they're still very, very young at a fraction of their natural lifespan, but they suffer immensely beforehand. For more information on this, I strongly recommend the Hope for the Animals podcast. She has a series called Reason for Vegan. She has a number of episodes on the egg industry, and she also has episodes on dairy, even humane dairy, as well as goat dairies. So check those out at hopefortheanimalspodcast.org, and then you can search under episodes on the Reason for Vegan series. So please share this episode with anyone who might benefit, and thanks for listening.